Oh my god, the host just triple slapped me.
You see whose food running?
56 was just sitting there making out the entire time I was trying to take
Why do we have
order.
so many servers on the floor? Did you hear about 73?
This is a work of fiction. Any similarity to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental.
Welcome back to Rolling Silverware. I'm Kat.
I'm Bunny.
And this is our post-shift shit talk. Today was an absolute day. So it's been like 2 weeks since we've recorded last, and I don't have a whole lot to talk about besides what happened today, because what happened today was bonkers.
Today was wild.
So I knew that once November hit, that it would start to pick up a little bit.
Right.
You know, October was really bad for us.
September, October are always slow for us.
September is always slow, but I didn't expect October to be worse than September.
Well, I feel like the summer crowd stayed through September this year.
Yeah.
So it was like I never really slowed down for September.
No.
And then all of a sudden it was like October 2nd and it's crickets.
Dead,
like
yeah.
Every single night we are cutting down to bare bones, like, because there's nothing happening.
Yeah, and I still wasn't walking with any money.
No.
Like, it was crazy dead in October. So I expected November to start picking up because the holiday season starts picking up. I did not expect it to be November 1st, bitch. Oh my
Immediately.
Goodness.
Time to go out.
Yeah. So I get a text message at like 10 o'clock this morning. They were like, hey, can you work at this other location? They really need a bartender. So I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You know, thinking I'll just get a couple of extra hours on the books, a little bit more money since October was so bad. Perfect. You know what I mean? Like, let's make a little bit of extra money. I'll drive over to the other location. It's like 30 minutes away. I'll bartend for 3 or 4 hours and I'll just make a little bit extra. And so I was like, yeah, that's fine.
2 shifts in a day, though, I would have said no.
It was rough, but I thought about it and I was like, it's fine. No worries. And then I walk in at 11:30 and they're like, oh,
by the way,
the bartender no-showed, and we didn't know until we were almost open.
Yep.
Apparently nobody walked out of the office for 2 hours before open to say like, hey, how's everybody doing? Is everybody here? No, of course not. They did none of that.
Right.
So they had no idea that the bartender never showed up. And when I walk in, they're still prepping the bar and putting the bar together. And they're like, surprise, we need you to bartend here as well. But also, because of the new rules we have surrounding the lead servers, we can't have anybody else be a lead server because there's nobody else in that group that's on the clock today.
Right.
So we need you to also be a lead server while also bartending and taking the full lounge area.
Yeah, we need you to take this entire area and another entire area.
And at one point, I had 31 to 36 filled with parties. 4 different parties sitting up at the bar. 4 parties, not 4 people, 4 parties sitting up at the bar. I am screaming, crying, and throwing up. I do not know what is happening. I don't know left from right at this point.
Sure.
I'm just on auto drive, trying to get drinks, trying to get people what they want. Thankfully, kitchen was great. No issues with the kitchen. Food all came out exactly when it was expected to, exactly as I rang it in. So that was really
perfect.
Really
That's what
nice.
I need in these moments where I am drowning. I just need the kitchen to be on it. So as long as they are, it does make everything so much easier.
Yeah, it felt nice and smooth. It was cool. It was great. And then the nighttime bartender came in half an hour early so that she can, you know, take over and I can go off to the other location. Fantastic. Perfect. I leave, go home, medicate my stupid cat, and immediately fuck off down to the other location. I get all the way down there for
30 minutes away.
30 minutes away for them to look at me and be like, oh, you didn't get our phone call? We actually don't need you. And I was like, oh, okay. And
great.
Yeah, they're telling me like, oh, you didn't get our phone call? And I looked at them and I was like, oh, I don't get phone calls when I'm driving. That's an absolute fucking lie. I do not have that set up on my iPhone, but I didn't want to be rude. So I'm sure they called a number, but it wasn't my fucking number. Like,
so you never got a phone call at all?
No, I did not get a phone call.
Did they call our restaurant to tell you that you didn't have time?
I don't know. Our manager did tell us, our bar manager, he's like, is this not your phone number? And he read it back to me and I was like, yeah, that's absolutely my phone number. They they might have called something, but it wasn't me.
They called someone and left someone a voicemail.
Right.
It wasn't me.
There was no voicemail on my phone. Nobody called me. My phone was open the whole time I was driving, so it would have come through. And I already have phone calls coming through when I'm driving or not. Like, I don't have that set up on my phone.
Yeah, but I still allow phone calls while I'm driving. It just comes through my speaker.
Yeah. Text sometimes will, if my phone's locked, the text will not come through until I'm parked and the phone goes unlocked.
Right.
But if my phone is unlocked, the text will come through.
Okay.
But I have it set so phone calls always come through so that I can never be out and about driving and then like my son's school calls me or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I have purposely set that up so that I always get phone calls because I have a kid. Like I kind of need that. And when I walked in, I was like, I just told him, I was like, oh, I don't get those when I'm driving. And I was driving because I didn't want to be like, no, you didn't call me.
Right.
Because I don't know these people. That would have been fucking weird.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, right? So
you're showing them your phone. Look at this shit. Look at this. Not a single phone call. Thank you for wasting my half an hour. Oh, hour. Because now I have to drive all the way back home.
Right.
Ooh, when did you make that phone call?
Right. I'm not gonna question on them. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, okay, whatever. They did say that they were gonna compensate me for gas, so I was like, that's fine. I'm gonna fuck off because it was such a day.
Sure.
I was like, I gotta go.
Absolutely. At this point, you don't need me. Great.
Yeah, I was like,
Great.
perfect. I've never heard better news, if I'm being honest. But today, while we're busy, we're going crazy. I am in the back. I'm pre-bussing, and I look over. And the host walks up. The manager is next to me. Fabulous manager is next to me. And the host that was working walks up. Oh, it was Brain. Walks up to me. And he goes,
Brain.
And he looks at Fabulous manager and he goes, oh, the host tonight that was supposed to close, he's on the phone and he wants to talk to you. And I just start cackling out loud. Because at this point,
Let's add to this.
You're totally fucked. Your restaurant's busy as hell. You got a 30-minute wait, full restaurant, 3 people taking tables on the floor. And each of us have 7 to 8 tables, and now you have a host that demands to speak to you more than 4 hours before shift starts. I'm dying. I'm laughing. And Fabulous manager is just like, don't piss me off. Like,
I can't take it right now.
He literally looked at Brain and was like, tell him I'll be with him in a second, because he had dirty plates in his hands, so he wanted to wash his hands first. He goes, tell him I'll be with him in a second and tell him not to make me mad. And then Brain's just like, okay, and he walks off. And
he called
of course,
out too?
He ended up calling out. It's so funny. Because, later the Fabulous manager walks over and I was like, did he call out? And he looks at me and goes, don't piss me off. She's like, yes, he called out. So I thought that was hilarious. But also something that happened today that I couldn't wait to talk to you about. Manic Pixie Dream Girl manager that we used to have applied for a location.
Really?
Applied for a different location as a server.
What?
Yeah, so she didn't apply as a manager, which means if she had applied for a manager position there, then they would have called corporate to see like her, record as a manager. No, she applied as a server, so they called our restaurant to get a recommendation.
Oh my God.
And our general manager answered
I was going to say, was it our GM? Was it the GM?
It was the GM who can't stand a Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
For every possible perfect reason. For every great reason why you can't stand somebody, it's those reasons.
Yeah. And so she did not give a recommendation as to what
I wish I could have taken that phone call. Are you kidding me? I would have. Oh, God. The things I could have said. Well, do you prefer to have people that sit down all day and do nothing? Because she's your girl.
Right.
Do you want somebody that can't stick to a dress code at all? She's your girl.
Well, as a server, she would have uniform.
Yeah, but she'd have that shit altered or tailored or some shit.
And she'd figure out how to tailor a t-shirt to make it. Yeah, you're right. I didn't realize she had moved out of that state, so.
That's some balls right there.
That's what I'm saying. The way that you left and like who you just were as a person when you worked here and why you got the position that you had was specifically because you were sleeping with somebody in a higher position than you. Like, and don't get me wrong, go for it. Like, you know what I mean? If you can sleep your way to the top, like,
get your back, girl, I guess. But
that's his fault for being stupid enough to withhold, you know what I mean? Withhold promotions for sexual favors and give them off to people that don't deserve them. Like, he's the dumbass at the end of the day getting taken advantage of because you're using him to get yourself into a better position. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
But yeah, I could not believe that.
To be a fly on the wall to hear that unrecommendation.
So I didn't hear the unrecommendation, but I did hear Fabulous manager and the general manager like talking about it because they were both sitting behind the bar prepping, helping me,
Right.
you know, figure everything out, and they're talking about it, and I'm just as slow as I possibly can making a drink.
I've actually got so much stuff to do right here.
I've never had more to do in this spot right now.
I need to count out each piece of mint for this drink. You guys keep at it.
It's very important I get 10 pieces of mint leaves for this mojito.
Oh my god.
Oh, I fucked up my count. I gotta start over.
I gotta start over. Hold on.
Absolutely.
Oops, I made a lemon drop. It was supposed to be a martini. My bad.
I've never had more stuff to do in one location than in that moment. I wanted to hear everything. Oh, absolutely fantastic. I love that she tried to get a position at one of our locations, and they were just like, absolutely do not hire her.
No, that's some balls, man.
Well, fuck her, I guess.
I don't really have much from my week. I mean, it was a slow week, you know.
Super slow.
Halloween week, most places don't really pop off, you know. Yeah, nothing really outstanding. So we have new directors coming in, right?
Oh.
So our upper management is changing hands. And so it's
Yes.
getting all worked around, which they do often enough, and they change up spots and readjust things, and that's fine. We don't really care.
Two of our regionals are quote unquote new regionals are old regionals.
Right, but in slightly new positions, but then they're coming back for our so that we fall in their category again.
Yeah,
right.
the regional service manager is somebody who, when I first started, she was the regional service manager.
Right.
So she changed to, like, her area was a different area for a while, and then she's coming back to our area.
Yeah.
So she's taking over kind of the same position as she had before, which fine. I mean, I never disliked her, but I never liked her. Like, I never had a relationship with her at all.
Yeah, she can be very curt at times.
Yeah.
And very by the book, you know, but at the end of the day, like, I never had any like bad times with her.
I felt very much like she didn't care about our location. Like, we were just kind of last on the list for her to worry
Right.
about. And so I never saw her often enough to just, like,
Sure.
give a shit. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, okay, I see her once every 6 months. Like, all right.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, no real complaints here.
No.
Like, I didn't hate her, you know, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I won't mind seeing her around again. And also, none of this really matters to me. Like,
Yeah.
for my job, none
They're
of
people,
these
like, whatever.
positions really matter to me. It's like, yeah, put whoever you want there.
Yeah, I'm going to do my job at the end of the day. I'm going to do it the way I do it because that's the way my guests love it. And I'm getting 5-star reviews on Yelp. So
Right.
what are you going to say to me? Like,
I'm doing my part.
Yeah.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
So one of our newer higher ups, who I don't know who this man is,
brand new.
Right,
Brand new
so
to the company.
brand new to the company, but I don't know who he is in correlation to us. Like, I wasn't given information as to what position he holds.
Mhm.
I was just told he's at that table, which is now in my section when I clocked in.
Oh, you're talking about the director of service.
Sure, if that's what he is. I have no idea.
So-
And so he was at one of my tables when I clocked in.
Yes.
And no big deal because the bartender already had him taken care of. He just had to get dessert. But she is frazzled. The bartender, she came into a not fully set bar because obviously the manager's setting it up in the morning. And then, like, the second well wasn't set and a couple other things just weren't done.
I mean, the second well had everything in the fridges. You just had to put them in the well.
Okay, well, I'm not going to... My whole point here isn't to talk any shit on her.
I'm going to talk shit.
Well,
Like, you could be frazzled because, like, things weren't set up the way you wanted them to be set up. But also, I think you need to take into consideration that somebody who doesn't bartend ever
she
is...
also has to juice and do other things that she
Yeah,
would
fair.
not normally have to do. Coming on at night, you should not have to do any juice.
No.
And if you do, there should be a very good reason why. Which
I told
there
her
was
not
a
to.
very good reason why she had to.
Yes.
However-
I did tell her, I was like, don't fucking do it.
Right.
Like, what are they going to do? Like, just don't do it.
Right. And like do it if we need it at the end, you
Right.
know? Like somebody can pop in the back and do it.
Yeah.
But so she was frazzled because she had people at the bar top. She also had tables.
Mhm.
And then she said a couple minutes into serving this new director, she was told, oh, by the way, that's corporate.
Yeah.
So now she's never served a corporate person before because she's at the bar. They don't sit at the bar.
Yeah, they're not really
So
supposed to.
she's never had this kind of interaction with somebody from corporate before. And so it can be a little off-putting at first because you want to make sure you're hitting all those standards. You want to make sure you're doing everything right. Not that we don't always, but you know how it gets, you know?
Yeah.
And so she is a little bit inundated when I got there. She did have a little bit going on. She had 3 tables and she had several people at the bar top and she's making drinks. So she had stuff going on. Plus she's got it in her head that she's got all this extra shit she has to do. So she's a little frazzled. And so I lean over and I just kind of glance at his table, and at the table there is a marking tray, like the things that we bring out, the extra silverware and stuff, at the table with a steak knife on it. And I look at her and I go, is that a marking tray? And she's like, yeah, I didn't know where to set the knife. And he just said, yeah, set it here. So I just set it down and walked away. And I was like,
Oh,
oh,
no.
babes. Oh, and I go, I'll go get it. Like, I'll go over and be like, oh, let me take this for you, you know, and like get it off the table.
Yeah.
And then, and she's in her head about it, right?
Yeah,
so it's like,
that's her biggest issue.
She just
always
gets
has
really in her
been,
head.
yeah.
But I guess that our GM had pulled her aside and said, hey, that's our new director. Just make sure you do everything by the book. Well, now she's panicking because she doesn't serve tables very often. So she doesn't
Right.
have that, you know, set standard by the book in her head all the time. Because behind the bar, it's different. It is entirely different when
It
you're
is,
serving
yeah.
at
There's
the bar
different
top.
standards behind the bar, yeah.
Right. And so then I guess
Poor girl.
I guess he had asked, oh, can you tell me about the key lime pie? To which we make our key lime pie
Yeah.
in-house. It's a fantastic key lime pie. It's like a very classic key lime pie.
If you like key lime pie, you'll love our key lime
It's so
pie, yeah.
good, right? And so she had said, oh, it's just whatever name brand we buy.
Oh, no.
And then she went to the back and she talked to another server and said, yeah, what's the brand of key lime pie that we get? And she goes, no, we make that. And she's like, oh, fucking great. Like, great. Like, I just...
Oh, poor girl.
And so I pull her aside and I go, hey, first and foremost, here are the desserts that we make in-house. And I named them. And I go, and for the ones that we don't make in-house, I always just tell people, oh, you know, we get it from a local bakery. Like, I'm not going to look at somebody who wants cheesecake and who says, oh, can you tell me about your cheesecake? And be like, it's frozen.
No,
Like,
for sure,
we
no.
get it in a box and it's frozen and then we de-thaw it. Like, I'm never going to say that to somebody because that's not appetizing. And also most people the guest doesn't need to know
No.
that. So
Would
for
I-
that to be her description, and I look at her and I was like, I probably would have been like, oh, you know, we use real key lime juice from the Key West key lime juice. And it's a very classic custard key lime pie. And it's great. That would have been the description I gave, you know?
Yeah.
And also we make it in-house. Like, so I was just like, oh, and she's like, oh my God. So now she's spazzing out about this.
Oh, poor girl.
So she is spiraling about the fact that she just like, one, misquoted what it actually is.
Misrepresented it to
Yeah,
our director
and
of service.
said it so
yeah.
blatantly. So I guess when she went back around to the table at some point, which he ended up getting the pumpkin cheesecake. So
Okay.
great. So then I go over and I, you know, make sure that I clear some plates and I make sure that he seemed like he was done. So I go, oh, do you need a box? And he's like, yeah, I'll take a box. So I bring him a box. I'm acting like I don't know who he is, right? You're just a guest.
you're
And I'm
supposed to,
walking
yeah.
through my station and I'm just trying to make sure that everybody's set. And so she went back over to drop the check and I guess she was like, oh, just to let you know about that key lime pie. Like she wanted to bring it up again.
Yeah.
Like, oh, in all honesty, I didn't know. And I go, hey, honestly, not a lot of people at the bar get desserts. Like
That's fair.
you don't sell a lot of desserts at the bar top. People are either getting drinks and then going to sit down.
Yep.
Or they're having their meal and then they're fucking off. Like as a bartender, I think my dessert sales were the lowest
Yep.
of any of my other sales because nobody stays for dessert at the bar. You know, it gets rare.
Very rarely.
So I was like, hey, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. So I guess what he had said was, well, I had no idea. I've never had any of the stuff from this place.
Yeah.
So he very much was like, no, I was just asking because I don't know. So I was like, oh, good. See, it wasn't a test. He didn't know either. And you're fine.
Oh, poor thing.
So yeah, she was kind of running all around, but I just like, as soon as she told me she said that, I just like put my hand up and I was like, oh no.
Something I tell people about the desserts we don't make in-house is, we get it from our distributor. We have our own distributor over in Costa Mesa. They're the ones that provide us for everything. So I tell them that that's where we get it from. But if it's something that's made in-house, then I'll say like, oh, we make it in-house. It's fantastic.
Also, like, well, in the chocolate cake we do get from a local bakery. So that is something that we source from them.
Oh,
And yes, it does come from the distribution center because they buy it from the local bakery and then it comes to us.
Yeah.
But it is actually a bakery that's not far off from where we are.
I literally just tell people we get it from our and then I bring it back like it's at our own distribution center.
Right,
It's
right.
the name of our company, distribution in this town that's 3 towns away. Like I make it sound like very local and like
Very local,
it's
right.
all owned by us. I'm not
Yeah.
exactly sure where
I don't know exactly
they
where it
source it,
comes
but I
from.
know that that's where we get it from.
Yeah.
Unless it's made in house, and then I tell them like, oh, we make it in
Oh.
house. Other than obviously the ice cream, because that's we are meant to say like it's house made because we
Right.
don't make that at our location.
But they do make it at the
But they
distribution center.
do make it at the distribution center, exactly. So
So speaking of desserts and how you describe them to guests,
Mm-hmm.
last week I had a woman who was, let me just start this. She comes into the restaurant on her cell phone, and she has 2 kids with her, and she does not get off her phone to tell the host, I would like a table. And she said something about possibly being outside, but she's also talking on the phone. So the host took her to a booth because that was the next available seating, was like somebody with a booth. And then she goes, oh, no, I want to sit outside. Oh, okay, I'll take you outside. So then they take them outside, and I end up taking care of them. So I walk out, she's still on the phone. And so I was like, hey, oh, you know what? Let me just start you with water and bread. I'll be right back. Because she's on the phone. I don't want to interrupt her.
Yeah, it's rude.
And she's like, no, I know what everybody here wants. And so she rattles off information to me, kind of rude. Like, she's being a little snappy about it. And so I'm writing everything down. And I'm trying to give her descriptions. Like, she ordered one of our sides that's a little extra. So I wanted to tell her. And she's like doing one of these, like where she just like waves at you.
Absolutely. Okay,
as she's
fine.
still on the phone. So I'm like, great. That's don't try to dispute that charge later. Because I'm trying to fucking tell you about it. And so, in my own little petty way, when I brought out the waters and the bread, she stops her phone call. She like covers the mouthpiece, and she goes, "Girls, let's wait for the bread. Like, don't eat any bread until your entrees come out." And I set that bread directly in front of her 2 children, and then I turn on my heels because to be in my defense, in my professional defense, that was the only open spot on the table because this lady moved nothing because she had her purse on the table and she had like this little file out as well, like she must have been talking business on the phone, right? But she had this like file folder out, so there was no spot near her, and she's waiting for her husband to come too. There's no spot near her for this bread, but those kids didn't have fuck all in front of them.
No,
so
here
you
out,
go.
lady. Yep.
Here's that bread that you can't touch. Goodbye. And so I fuck off. So anyways, their meal goes, whatever. It's fine. The salmon came out under because that's how we cook it. And I did, in fact, explain that.
Try to at least,
Tried to explain that. And so I went, oh, that one comes out medium rare. She goes, thought I ordered it well. And I go,
You ordered it.
You ordered it.
You didn't specify fuck all.
No, and when I tried to talk to you, you waved at me. So this is what you got. So, of course, we fix it. No problem. And the husband was fine. He was totally chill with his new plate of food and everything. Anyways, my whole point is to get to the dessert. So I walk over. At this point, I have like 4 tables that are trying to close out. Like it's the end of the night, and so I've got at least 3 checks that I need to run fairly soon. You know, and it's just me. There's not any other servers on, and so she stops me and she goes, "I think how's your cheesecake? How is it?" And I was like, "It's a New York style cheesecake. Comes with some strawberry sauce, a little bit of whipped cream." She goes, "But how is it?"
It's a standard cheesecake. You ever eat cheesecake before?
Right.
It's what the fuck it tastes like.
And I'm like, well, if I'm being honest, I don't love cheesecake, so it's not really my dessert. I was like, but people do quite enjoy it. And she goes, well, how's the crust? I go, it's graham.
The fuck you mean?
It's graham cracker crust.
What are you talking about?
Like every cheesecake ever. I was like,
what did you think it was? Oreo? No, it's fucking graham cracker. It's a New York style cheesecake.
It's a graham cracker crust. Like I'm confused.
It's not a new basket. It doesn't have. It's not crustless. What the fuck are you on about?
So then she goes, well, is it crunchy or is it soggy? And I was like, I can't say. And I looked at her, I go, I want to be honest with you. I can go ask. I was like, but I don't order the cheesecake because I don't like it. Like, cheesecake is not my dessert. You know,
like, I don't eat it.
The pumpkin one, I'll sell that to you all fucking day and all night because I love that shit. I love anything pumpkin. But the regular cheesecake, I don't think I've had it since I started with the company. Like, I don't care for cheesecake. So I was like, I don't know for sure. And so her husband's just like, just order the cheesecake if you want it. And she looks at me and she goes, you know what I really want? And I was like, what?
If you don't say cheesecake right now, I'm going to punch you in the face.
She goes, I just want one of those big cookies. And the husband goes, then order the big cookie. Like he's over it. And
we don't have a big cookie. What are you talking about?
I look at him and I go, we don't have a big cookie. Like that's not us. She's like, I just want like one of those really gooey cookies with like ice cream on top. And I look at her dead in the face and I go, no. I look at her dead in the face and I go, BJ's is just on the other corner. Because that's what you want. You want a fucking Pizookie, go there. Like that's it, and it's right. It's very close to us. There's a BJ's very close to us. Yeah. So I was like, there's a BJ's like 2 minutes away. Like I don't know if you know this, but if that's what you really want, go fucking get it, and please take this check and pay out because now I've had it with you. Like you, she has just recently gotten off the phone. And now she wants to talk to me for so long. And so she's like, but the crust, like, is it a crunchy crust or not on the cheesecake? Because if it's soggy, I don't want it. And I was like, I don't know. And so the husband looks at me. He's like, just can we just get the cheesecake? And she goes, okay, but can I get, like, I want, like, strawberries with it. Can I have strawberries with it? Yeah, of course. And can I get, like, extra of the strawberry sauce? Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
So, also, you want extra strawberry sauce. You know what that's going to do to the possibility of a crispy crust?
Make it very fucking soggy.
So, I go and I get it, and it's got strawberries layered all over the top. The guys in the back made a show of this. Like, it looked amazing.
Yeah.
It had, like, neatly placed strawberry slices all across the top, and then some on the plate, and, like...
Bitches were making art.
Yeah, they're back there bored as shit, and they're making
like,
this look...
This is my Mona Lisa, bitch.
It's like, it's so beautifully, perfectly plated. And so I set this down, and I got a smile on my face, because I was like, this looks great. Like, I don't even like cheesecake, and this looks great.
Yeah.
So I set it down, and this fucking bitch takes her fork, and she takes, I shit you not, the smallest smidge of the most bottom part of the corner of the crust. Like, I mean, like several granules of fucking graham cracker.
Don't piss me off.
She puts on this fork, puts it in her mouth, and looks at me and goes, it's soggy. And I go,
we're fighting.
And
so
I
we're
go,
fighting in this parking lot.
And I go, oh, is it?
Oh, I would just be like, oh, and walked the fuck away.
And her husband's just looking at me with all the apology in his eyes, and he's just
oh my
like,
God.
I am so sorry. And she's like, I guess we'll go for the butter cake then, because I had told her about, she asked me what my favorite dessert was prior to this. I told her it's the butter cake. Ours is fantastic. It's one of the best that exists out there. It's so good.
They bake it with cream cheese in it, so it's very moist.
It's so so then she
great.
goes on this fucking rant about butter cakes and who has the best one, and is it Mastro's or is it here or is it there, and we're going back and forth, and so I'm chiming in with, I think that ours holds up. Like, I used to work at a different place and it wasn't very good there, and this one's really good. Like, I don't know what more you want from me. I need to walk away from this table. Like, I need to just leave. I hate her because nobody else is touching this cheesecake. Even her kids didn't want dessert, so nobody else is touching this, and she has taken a smidgen of a portion of the crust and decided that it's not good enough for her.
After the kitchen went through all of that to make it beautiful for her.
Right. And we added on these strawberries at no cost.
At no cost,
and extra sauce and everything else. So she's like, yeah, I don't know. I just like, and so she's looking at her husband. She's like, do I want the butter cake? And he's like, do you? Like, and I'm standing there like, check out, like, just like, please
somebody take this
from me and stop this conversation right now, because I can't do it again. And so then she looks at me and she goes, where's the BJ's? And I go, it's right there. It's so close. And then I looked at her and I said, I actually know somebody that works there. You could literally call and place the order, and that will be ready by the time you get there. I was like, their to go is fantastic there. And like, just leave. Just fucking leave. Please go. And so the husband's like, just order your cookie and let's go. Like, and so I thought that he thought that we still had a cookie, because now he's talking like, just order the cookie and we'll get it to go. And so I look at him and I go, we don't have a cookie. And he's like, no, we're going to order it from BJ's. And I was like, okay, great. Here's your check. And I fucked off. And so he paid the bill.
Run away.
He paid the bill and he left me 35%. Thank you so much.
As he fucking should.
And they did take the cheesecake to go in a box.
As they fucking should.
And I was just like, but watching her take that fork and take like, I'm not joking. This was like a cartoon-esque tiny bite. Like that Mickey episode where they all have to share the pea, you know, and they like slice the little fucking slice of pea or whatever. That's what she fucking did right then. Like, she took so little that I almost wanted to be like, maybe if you got in further, it might be crunchy. Like, you took so little of the outside that's drenched in strawberry sauce that you asked for. And then I watch her, and nobody else is picking up a fork because nobody else wanted dessert. It was just her. And I was just like, oh my God, please leave.
Absolutely not.
So never have I ever offered somebody else's dessert before.
Except this
one time. I was like, you know what? If you really want it, bitch, right over there. It's right the fuck over there.
There's a crumble in the area as well.
There's a crumble in eyesight if you want that. Anyways, she wanted a big cookie, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, the same Black Angus. We don't have that wagon wheel cookie for you. Like, I don't know what you want.
Yeah.
So that was, oh God, it was so annoying. Because start to finish, she had offended the host by being on her phone. And then she had talked to me. And then, like I said, when the salmon came out the exact way that I explained it would, I ordered it well.
But she
you didn't.
waved you off.
You didn't. You stopped me from talking.
Yeah.
So maybe you wanted to order it well, and that's great. I would have done that for you.
I've had tables before where when they were on the phone, I literally just stopped talking and walked away. Like, it doesn't matter if they're like, oh, wait, I'm still walking.
Right.
You can get off your phone before you talk to me. Like, I'm sorry, but I have information that I need to tell you. And if you're not going to give me the time of day, then I'm not going to give you my time of day.
Right. Well, and she was so adamant about ordering, so I was like, yeah, okay. Because I've done that too, where I've had people be on the phone, and I'm like, do you want anything to drink? And then I'm like, never mind. And I give them the hand signal, like, no, it's okay, I'll be right back. And then I'll come back later, and then maybe even they set their phone down for a second. Like, I don't care if you want to talk through your entire meal if you're sitting by yourself. You go right ahead and do that. But when I am speaking to you, please talk to me.
Yes, exactly.
And give me your undivided attention for the amount of time that I need, which isn't long.
For that exact reason.
35 seconds is really all I need to get your order correct.
I need to tell you if certain sides are premium, because when that check brings down and there's
and you see that charge,
there's an extra charge on it. I don't want you telling me like, oh, I didn't know that this was extra. I thought it came with 2 sides. Why didn't you tell me this was extra? Certain things are prepared a certain way. Like the salmon is done to medium rare or medium instead of well done. If you want your salmon well done, I need to explain these things to you so that shit doesn't get sent back to my kitchen. Because now it looks like a server error.
Right.
It doesn't look like you just waved me off when I was trying to talk to you. Yeah, it looks like I didn't tell you information that is grilled into me in every pre-shift that I need to tell you this information.
It was just such this ordeal, this back and forth. And so having that, like...
that end dessert, I would have walked... I probably wouldn't have walked away, but in my head, I would like, just walk away. Just walk away. Just walk away. Just walk away. I would have found when it was like, I'll give you a minute. And just walked off. Like, I gotta go.
She literally didn't want me to leave the table because she wanted... If it was a soggy crust, then she didn't want it. And I was just like... Well, now for forever, if I ever get that question again, it's kind of soggy because
I wouldn't tell people that at all.
Well, and soggy is a terrible description of something, but it's moist. Like what? I don't know.
No.
But also, like, so my dad makes cheesecakes, right? And apparently they're like the best cheesecakes in the world. I don't know. I've had so many people tell me that. Again, cheesecake to me is just a whatever dessert.
Okay.
But so I know the intricacies of baking a cheesecake.
Right.
It's drilled into me with how many times I've seen this man and heard him complain about them, let alone seen him make them. The chances of keeping that crust entirely crispy are very low.
So slim, yeah.
So slim. So, like, where are you getting your cheesecake? Like, how can you be this much of a fanatic about whether it's crunchy or not? And then she goes on this whole rant about how when she got it in New York, and I'm just like, it's a New York style cheesecake. It's probably what you want. Ours is New York style. And she's like, well, when I was in New York, and I was like, that's this. That's what you want. It literally says New York cheese. What do you want from me? What more do you want from me? I'm helping. I think.
I'm trying. I'm just a girl.
Oh, and tonight I had a table. The first person says, oh, we want the butter cake. Like, they don't want a dessert menu. They just want a butter cake. And I was like, great. And then they asked their friend who's with, it was a couple and a friend. And they asked their friend, do you want dessert? And he goes, yeah, what are they? And so I named them. We have like 12.
Right. It's such a long list.
It is. And the list is so close, like, to where I was standing that I was like, I can go get that for you. Like, this could be done on your own. Like, you could do a little reading and I could fuck off.
It's actually a lot easier if you do it that way.
So I named them off. And then he looks at me and he goes, can I say surprise me? And I was like, you can. And the husband of the couple goes, oh, don't do that. I go, no, it's fine. Surprise. And I walk away and I stand at the terminal for longer than I thought I would because they have ordered my favorite dessert. They've already ordered it.
What do you do above that?
So second to the butter cake for me is our pumpkin cheesecake because to me it doesn't taste like cheesecake at all. It just tastes like pumpkin mousse and I fucking love it.
Yeah, some people don't like that pumpkin
Some
flavor.
people don't like pumpkin. So I'm standing there hovering over the pumpkin cheesecake button and I'm like, they've already ordered the best dessert we have. So what's second to that for most people, right?
Yeah.
So I landed on the creme brulee.
That's a fair choice.
And when I brought it out, the guy was like, oh, I love creme brulee. And I was like, fuck, yes!
Yep.
Awesome. I'm glad I surprised you. And I'm glad I got away from this conversation. Because I didn't want to read off that list again. Yeah. And I also didn't want to step away and then go get him the list.
She's like,
so it's like, can I say surprise me? You can. Suck it. Like, I hope you like it. Because I was like, maybe the bread pudding? No, maybe this.
A lot of
no,
people
maybe
don't.
this.
So for me, and this is kind of similar with our birthday dessert, since we have two options that we can give for a birthday dessert.
Yeah.
I have my very standard, this is what everybody gets for birthday dessert. However, if they are a table of 80 plus, like the people on the table
Yes.
are 80 years old or older,
Oh.
they're always getting that key lime pie because old people fucking love the key lime pie.
They also like bread pudding, though.
They do, but I feel like they like the key lime pie better. And so I'll always bring them the key lime pie, and every single time, without fail, birthday girl or boy was like, "Oh my God, this is my favorite." And I'm like, "I know."
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Trust me. Trust me, I know.
If it's more than 3 people, like if it's 4 or more, and they're just getting the one birthday dessert, right? I do the bread pudding because it's a decent portion and everybody
It's a
likes
larger
ice cream.
portion.
It
Yeah.
comes with ice cream. Everybody likes ice cream. So even if you don't like bread pudding, just have some ice cream. And like it's set, it's done. I don't care. And like I said, older because it's got the raisins in it, so older
Yeah.
people like raisins. They're all shriveled up. reminds them of themselves.
Bread pudding is like my favorite dessert.
I love bread pudding.
Ours
I
is
prefer
great.
I prefer it with chocolate chips than raisins, but it's still good.
No, I love it with raisins. I actually really like our bread pudding.
I love our bread pudding. It's fantastic. We also make that in-house. And it's a good portion.
Yeah, it is. My favorite thing, so the new standard with the little chits that are being printed out at the host stand, right?
Yeah,
The ones that we fill out.
Right.
Those will say like special occasion, birthday, special occasion, anniversary, whatever.
Right.
Like I fucking love just randomly bringing out a dessert at the end and be like, "I heard we're celebrating today." And people always, "Oh my God, how did you know?" And it's like, it
Yeah.
tells me, I'll show them. I'm like,
The person who made the reservation told us. Like,
Yeah.
it's really not that hard.
Yeah, because we asked specifically when you're making a
Are you
reservation,
celebrating anything?
celebrating anything? So yeah, I definitely that's my favorite thing. And then I'll always bring it out and I tell them, my birthday gift to you, or my anniversary gift, whatever we're
Right.
celebrating, I'm like, my gift to you is you don't have to listen to me sing. You're very welcome. And
Yeah.
then I set it in front of them.
Yeah.
And then I'll bring it like the spoons or the plates or whatever. And I'm like, and I brought you however many spoons for the whole table. But if you don't want to share, you're under no obligation.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, "Oh my God, thank you." Like
Yeah.
people love
People
my
love it.
birthday spiel.
I'll light the candle, right? And I'll set it in front of somebody, and then I'll be like, I promise I won't sing, but happy birthday.
Right.
Enjoy this dessert on us, right? And then I do the same thing with the spoons or the forks or whatever it is that I set in front of them. I go, "Oh, and I brought some utensils. You don't have to share."
Yeah.
Like, don't share if you don't want to. Like, I brought 4, but you don't have to share if you don't want to. And then I walk away. But constantly, I'm not going to sing, or I'll save you my voice,
Yeah. I always tell them, I'm like, "You're welcome." They love that.
Yeah, you don't want to hear me sing? My son tells me to stop often. So, and I'll tell that to guests too. I'll be like, I think we've talked about it before, but like my least favorite thing in the world is the woman who wants you to sing.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, we're not singing? Come on, ready, we're not singing." And I just look at him and I'm like, "No. I'm 35 years old, and the only person I sing happy birthday to is my 6, soon-to-be 7-year-old son.
Yep.
He gets a happy birthday song sung by me and others, but I'm sorry, you're 48 years old, and you want my 35-year-old ass to sing happy birthday to you? Suck it."
I'm a stranger.
Yeah. I don't work at Disney no more, sweetheart. I don't
Yeah.
fucking have to. Like, I'm sorry. I love that we don't have to sing
I have
because it does, like, it's corny as shit.
I've
like,
told people, I was like, I'm too old to work at a place that makes me sing
Yep.
happy birthday to people.
absolutely.
Okay, so there's a video of me.
A video.
So, the same. I do not sing happy birthday to fucking anybody except my kid. Like, and even then, he is now 13 years old, just turned 13. He gets very embarrassed. He does not want me singing his happy
Being
birthday
sung
to him.
happy birthday to is one of
So
the most
embarrassing.
uncomfortable things of anyone's whole life. Like, if
I
you
hate
love
it.
that shit, I hate you.
Right.
Because I hate it so fucking much. I don't want that attention on me for even a moment. I don't even like the short little birthday songs that some places sing. Like at Black Angus, we had like the shorter version.
Happy birthday from all of
Yeah.
us to you. We
And
wish
we'd
it
have
was
to
our
get
birthday
fucking
so we could
7 of
party
us
too.
all gathered around
You
to
gotta
clap
run
and shit.
around, yeah.
Come on, I got a birthday. I got a fucking birthday. Get over. You're not doing anything. You get over here and you sing a birthday with me.
When
You're
I
like
worked-
looking at people fucking smoking out back, and you're like, put it out. Put it out. Birthday. Get the fuck inside. Like, I'll do one for you later. I'll get you. You do me right now, and I'll do you one later. Like, oh my god, rallying people for a birthday was like funny, but also the fucking worst.
Awful. When I worked there, we had a Polaroid. We had to go to the host
Oh
stand,
yeah, we
get
didn't have the Polaroid when I
thing.
worked there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Any- Anyways, there is
Right.
a video of me where my dad, so when my ex and I first separated, I was living with my dad for a while, for a good 6 months to a year
Right.
before I moved out so quickly. I was like, I can't fucking
I
stand
can't do this.
I was literally 26, 27 with a kid, and they were like, okay, remember to be home by curfew. And I'm like, fuck you. But anyways, when I was living there, they came into my room one day, and they were like,
it.
come on, we have to go sing happy birthday to the dog. And I said, no,
We don't.
no, I'm not doing that. And they got so mad. They were legitimately upset with me for not coming out of my room to sing happy birthday to their dog. And so there's a video of me.
Not only would I not sing, you're going to hear me cackling the whole time. I'm going to be laughing at you. I'm going to record you singing because I'm going to be like, look at these fuckers. That dog doesn't know what the fuck you're saying to it.
There's a dog in the middle. My son, who was like 2 at the time.
Oh, and kids love singing happy birthday. That's their favorite thing.
And he loved it. He had a great time. And then me just angrily next to this dog, staring it the fuck down. Happy birthday.
Oh my god.
And that dog has passed. Bless her heart. She was angry at all the time. She was a rescue and very mad. And she took a lot. But yeah, still, every once in a while, my dad will send me that video.
I remember this.
Yeah.
Remember when we made you do this?
My dad sends me random shit sometimes. He'll send, every year he has on his calendar, like a reminder of the day I broke my nose when I was like 12 or 13. And he was like, oh, you broke your nose 30 years ago. I'm like, thanks, Dad. Like, I know, it's great.
Right. I love this reminder.
Thank you. Even worse, when my childhood dog, so I had a dog when I was 4 or 5. We got a dog from the pound, and she lived all the way up until I was in my 20s.
Right.
Loved this dog. She was very well trained, great dog. And every year he'll send me a reminder of her the day she passed. And he's like,
Why?
oh, I miss Ginger. And I'm like, yeah, me too. Thanks, Dad.
Great.
He sends me a random, and then of course the video of me just angrily singing happy birthday to his other dog that had passed now, and it's just fucking wild. I love my dad's text messages. Every once in a while I'm like, what is it going to be this time?
What am I in for?
It's either a dad pun or something super depressing or a random reminder of something that I didn't need in my life at all. I'm 37.
That's fantastic.
Okay.
Okay. Great.
Thanks, Dad. I love him so much. Shout out, Dad. He doesn't listen.
No, everybody's birthday should be special if they want it to be. That's all well and good.
Fair, but don't bring
Don't make
strangers
strangers sing you happy birthday. It's awkward for and also happy birthday is such a long and drawn out song.
into it.
Like
The full song, yeah, fuck it.
it's oh my god. And I don't know, I hate it. I'm not doing it.
Okay, this just reminded me. Okay, so I was in the office earlier today, and I was talking to the EKM. And I don't know how we got on the subject, but we got on the subject of the health inspections, right?
Right.
Stuff like that. And I looked at him and I go, you remember the time the health inspector asked me about the sinks and why my hand washing sink wasn't opened?
I do. I remember this time.
I was working behind the bar, and the health inspector came in, and we were like kind of close to opening, but we weren't quite open yet. And I hadn't opened the hand washing sink yet because I hadn't started on like the garnishes and the stuff that like keeps me behind the bar. I just hadn't opened up the hand washing sink yet behind the bar because I'd been going back and forth. And the health inspector looked at me and she goes, "Isn't this your hand washing sink?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just haven't opened it yet." And she goes, "Then where are you washing your hands?" And she said it so rude. And I was angry.
A cat doesn't wash her hands.
I was never in the mood. That day I was so much in the mood that I looked at her and I go, "In the back." Like I gave her so much attitude.
Or in the main sink that we have that rinses all the dishes that gets the hottest, right? The water that
Right.
runs the hottest. Like we just rinse the dishes there. We
Yes.
then put them into the one with the scrub brushes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the sink that I wash my hands in, because one, there's soap right there.
Yeah.
And also, it's hotter than that little tiny sink off to the side. Like,
Right.
this is actually more sanitary, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I'm not using the quote-unquote hand-washing sink.
But the way she said, she's like, where are you washing your hands? She phrased it in a way that, like, where have you been washing your hands this morning? So I said, in the back, like, very rude, very offhanded. And then I just walked out, like, giving her a dirty ass look. And she wrote down in her statement, bartender says she never washes her hands.
And I know that because I talked to EKM the next morning when I opened the bar, and he comes in and hands up to his head, and he goes, Kat said she doesn't wash her hands. And I just start cackling, and I was like, no, she didn't. No, she didn't. He goes, no, it's written here that Kat says she never washes her hands. And I go, that's not true. And all I could think was, God damn it, Kat. Why are you doing this?
The GM at the time, we had this GM for 3 to 4 months,
Right.
right? He was there for so little of a time. That same day, he comes up to me and he goes, why did you tell her that? So sad, so just exasperated. Like, why is Kat sabotaging me? Like, he was so upset.
Like,
that I
we
said
don't
that.
have enough other stuff to be worried about.
Right.
Now we have to worry about if our bartender's going to admit to being clean or not.
But here's the thing, they had all
I would have tacked on, like, and I haven't showered in a week, motherfucker. And then just, like, walked in.
shoved my armpit in her face. What do you think? It's good, right? It's native.
Am I a little right? Or just look at your hands and be like, do I have to do that every day? What?
Was I supposed to be doing that? I don't know.
I'm so sorry. Do you want me to make you a drink?
And the GM has seen me wash my hands. I wash my hands every time I touch a dirty
Constantly,
dish. I'm
yes.
constantly. So he's seen me wash my hands. The EKM has seen me wash my hands. Everyone has seen me wash my hands constantly. So they absolutely knew that wasn't true. But they were like, "Why would you tell
Why would you
the
say
health
that?
inspector that?" And I told him, I was like, "I didn't. I just said I hadn't been washing my hands in this sink that morning." Like I told her, she'd asked
Right.
me where I had been washing my hands. So I told her in the bag, but she was super rude, so I was super rude. And he goes, well, now she did this. So I'm talking to the EKM about it today. I'm like, oh my God, you remember that? And he goes, yeah, I remember it. I had to write an action plan about how we retrained a 36-year-old woman on how to properly wash her hands using the happy birthday song.
As an example. I always heard it was the alphabet song. You had to sing the alphabet song when you lost your hands.
You sing happy birthday twice. That's how long you're supposed to wash your hands. That I did not know the whole action plan. That shit had me crying. Oh my God.
That's so funny.
I was on my way to the other location. I could not stop laughing at the idea of our EKM sitting down and typing out, we've redirected and retrained our bartender to how to properly wash her hands.
Via the happy birthday method.
Oh my God, I'm going to be sick. So stupid. Oh my God, that made me laugh so hard. Oh, fuck me. And nobody ever said anything because obviously they knew that was a lie. They had
Right.
watched me wash my
Sure.
hands so often that they were just like, you dumbass. Like,
Why
stop
did you
it.
say that? Yeah. He was, like I said, he was still very frustrated the following morning when he told me that. He's like, yeah, well, she said. And I was like, no, she didn't. But also in my head, I was like, she probably did. She fucking would.
Fuck that bitch.
Oh.
Oh, fuck that health inspector.
We had a health inspector come, like, because they it's like a surprise visit, right? But we also kind of know, like, when they're coming.
Surprise.
Like,
Yeah, because it is
we have, like,
sort
a-
of on a schedule.
Right,
yeah.
we have like a general idea of like when during the week they'll probably pop by. You know, like
Yeah.
it's not literally like surprise. I'm here on a Tuesday, but I said I'd be here Friday. You know, like it isn't
Yeah.
it isn't like totally that random. But we didn't know that they were coming that day, and it was a woman, but she was very sweet. And it was one of the days that we had a bartender call out, so I
Oh,
had
no.
arrived at my earliest time, which to be honest was my earliest convenience, because fuck this shit. Like
Yeah.
I'm not scheduled for the morning as is, and now you
Right.
want me to come in extra early and also do you the favor of bartending.
Yeah, I'm not coming in at 8. You might
No,
see me
yeah,
at
I'll see you at 10:30.
9,
Like
yeah, 10.
I can do it in half an hour. You know, like I can set up the bar in half an hour, and we can worry about my break later. Like that's what I said. I was like, I'll do 10:30. Like, and so cool, great, we love you, thank you, come in.
Yeah.
And so I get there. And I have every single manager waiting for me because they've already started kind of prepping the bar.
Yeah, they freak out about that.
Yeah, they really freak out. And so they're like, hey, so we already checked all of the labels. So all of the labels are good. But we need you to, like, you know, like really set this up, make sure everything's labeled, make sure everything's great. And it's because the health inspector was in the kitchen at the time and they do the bar last. And so I was like, okay, great. So I'm doing everything as perfectly clean and nice and neat as I possibly can because I just want it to be like so great, right? Because I've got 3 managers staring me down being like, fucking don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay. And so the only thing that I hadn't gotten a chance to do was to put the labels on the garnishes that sit at the bar top.
Right.
And so she comes in and she's going through all of the fridges and I'm like, great, yeah, I already know those are all labeled. And she starts pulling things out, like syrups and stuff. And now I'm panicking because I had been promised that things had been gone through already.
Right.
So I think she was pulling the things that ended that day because then later
Okay,
she
but that
asked...
means that night. That
Right.
doesn't
But
mean,
she asked me later, so these will be gone by the end of the day. And it was things like cut limes and stuff like that. And I was like, yes, absolutely. And then she starts going over my well. And she turns just one of those garnish glasses around and there's no label. And I like frantically reach behind me to the massive list of labels that I have printed, like this ribbon long, you know, fucking like 2-yard long ribbon of printed labels. And I was like, I have them. They're right here. I have them. I haven't done them yet. And she goes, it's all good. Like, we're good. And she's like, you're fine. She's like, I figured you just got here. I was like, I did just get here. And she's like, yeah, I heard that you were doing a favor. So yeah, just as long as they're labeled before service starts. And I was like, yeah, they will be. She's like, you're good. But like, it was totally this, because I'm being like, attacked by everyone else to be so perfect, and I'm over here like sweating bullets, like, oh no. And yeah, that I remembered that day. I was like, should I tell her I don't wash my hands?
That would have been so stupid. I mean, I could have said it nicer, like, oh, I just haven't opened it up yet. I've been washing my hands at the back because I'm going back and forth right now.
Yeah, or even just the others. Like, I would have just said I wash my hands right here, like right here, because even when the hand washing sink is open, I don't wash my hands over there. I wash them in the sink that's closest to me. Like,
I do it in the far left hand because that's there's a divider there.
Yeah.
Right. So it.
Oh, right, like off to the side.
The far left sink, because there, like I said, there's a divider in between that and the well.
Splashing.
There's no splash. There's no nothing. So like I do prefer that sink because I do feel like it's close to the well. It's right there. I don't have to walk halfway through the bar to wash my hands and then walk all the way back to the well. But there are like very specific things set up in that hand washing sink, like the paper towels and stuff like that. So
no, she took your attitude and she said, well,
she looked at me, she was not having a great day, and she decided to give me attitude, and I was not having a great day, and I gave it right the fuck
and
back.
she said, bartender doesn't wash her hands.
Yeah, so she was like, I'm going to knock this bitch, and I'm like, they're not going to fire me. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, we have 3 bartenders right now, so you can fuck off.
We're running on fumes.
Yeah,
good luck.
I was like, yeah, okay.
Oh my God.
I just remember the GM coming up to me, just dejected, just like, why would you do that?
You do this to me.
He was so sad.
Oh my God.
I miss him. I hope he's doing okay.
I hope he's doing well. Yeah.
I
He
didn't
was a
hate
fun
him.
time. No, I loved him. I loved him.
I
I
loved
stayed
him a
at this
lot.
location for him.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed him as a person, and I enjoyed the way he handled as a GM. I thought he ran the way.
So many people were like, "Oh, he was garbage," and I'm like, "He wasn't even here long enough to be garbage."
You couldn't
I don't
have
know why.
formed that opinion about him. As a person, I loved him.
Yeah.
And as a GM, I felt like he was visible and there when I needed him.
He was there. He was always on the floor. He was always like, somebody that I could find. It was never
and rely
an issue.
on, and yeah.
And when I spoke to him, he was like, "Cool, understand." And shit, I don't know if shit necessarily got done, but definitely it felt like he sent the right emails that, you know what I mean? He felt like he was supposed to do. And I don't know, I liked him. I thought he was a great
I thought he was
time.
great. And then I heard he was leaving, and I was like, you motherfucker.
I didn't
like,
even hear he was leaving. I heard he left.
I stayed because you begged me to. Like,
you were gonna
practically.
transfer, yeah.
But yeah, I was 2 days away from my transfer being, like I had 2 days left at this location because I had already put in for my transfer to another. And he he all but got down on his knees and said, "What do you want to stay?
Yeah.
I want you here. I need you here. What do you want to stay?" And so I just said, "Hey, this is what I want." And he goes, "Okay, it's yours." And then 3 weeks later, he fucks off. And I'm all, "But what?"
Yeah.
remember how I stayed? What the fuck are you doing?
Devastating.
Yeah.
Speaking of old GMs, oh, I can't even believe so much shit happened today. I walk in, the old sexual predator GM that we had was at the bar. And I look at the EKM and I was like, why is he here?
What's he doing here?
Right. And the EKM was like, oh, he's just picking up something for his location. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. He's fucking leaving. That's all I needed to know.
Yeah, just let me know he's not staying in the building.
Right. And so as I'm talking to the EKM about something, the old GM walks in, sexual predator walks in, and he starts saying like hi to the EKM, and then he looks at me and goes, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And I fucking hate that dude.
You know how he talks like an idiot.
He is an idiot.
He is an idiot.
I gave him a dirty look and walked away. I didn't even say hi. I didn't say like what's up, nothing. I just went ugh, and walked away. Like fuck you.
I think
you have nothing worth saying. Like you have nothing worth me listening to.
No.
Like whatever you have to say, I don't fucking care. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You're a douchebag. You're a fucking predator. And the fact that you still have a job at this company is a fucking miracle.
Baffling. Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to you, and I don't have to. I don't have to talk to you.
And
it's not my
that's
job.
The blessing.
It's not my job to have to deal with you anymore. So
yep.
Please fuck off. Though we talked about it last season, but the last time he was in the building, I played that dance of everywhere he was, I was opposite him.
Yeah.
So as he walked up one row of tables, I walked down another row. Like
Yep.
I avoided him like the plague. And it was like it had to be screamingly obvious because every time he went to walk towards me, I just walked away.
Yeah.
Like it didn't matter what I needed. I could have been in the middle of cutting bread, and if he walked in my direction, I don't need bread. What am I doing here?
Oh, I forgot. I don't need this.
I actually need to go check on all of my tables outside. Like what? The none that I have. Oh, the host needs me? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Deuces.
Yeah, he caught up. He surprised me. Jumped out because I kind of my back towards that like large opening towards the floor.
Right.
And he came up and he goes, "Hey, how's it going?" I was just like, "Fuck off." And I walked away. Like, you're a scumbag.
Yeah.
You've nothing worth saying to me. Go
Okay, yeah,
away.
I have nothing to say to you.
Are you ready to check out?
I'm ready to check out.
Let's get out of here.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Rolling Silverware Podcast. If you are enjoying the post-shift shit talk, please feel free to rate it. Tune back in next week for our shift shenanigans.